a time when the operation of the machine becomes so odious, makes you so sick at heart that you can't take part. You can't even passively take part. And you've got to put your bodies upon the gears and upon the wheels, upon the levers, upon all the apparatus, and you've got to make it stop. And you've got to indicate to the people who run it, to the people who own it, that unless you're free, the machine will be prevented from working at all.
Let's try this script from the top. I have 2 extra questions and 1 statement to add. We'll start with the statement. Officer, please stay where you are and call your No, that's wrong. Officer, for your and my safety, please stay where you are and call your supervisor. Pardon me? What's your name and badge number? What's the emergency? How can I help? Am I under arrest? Actually, there's 2 more I'd like to throw in before that, and that's, am I here about that matter? Am I here to Am I being detained? No, am I being arrested? Am I being detained? Am I free to go? The reason why I do them in that order, arrested, detained, free to go, is because usually, am I under arrest? They're going to say, no, you're not under arrest. Am I being detained? No, you're not being detained. Well, am I free to go? Well, hold on a second, you're being detained. That's why I ask it in that order. Alright, so from the top. Officer, for your and my safety, please stay where you are and call your supervisor. Pardon me? What's the emergency? How can I help? What's your name and badge number? Am I here about that matter? Am I here to testify? Am I under arrest? Am I being detained? Am I free to go? I believe I'm in a custodial arrest because I'm not free to go. If I give you anything, therefore, will you use it to further a legal charge against me? You don't need the word therefore, but aside from your willingness to use violence, what facts or evidence are you relying on to prove your opinion is true, that that law applies to me? It's your opinion that the law applies to me, right? And it's based on what facts and evidence? So it's just an arbitrary opinion? I'm just rambling now, but the end of the script is question number 5, which is, aside from your willingness to use violence, what facts or evidence are you relying on to prove your opinion is true, that that law applies to me? Because that's the one you're going to win in court with. When the time they arrest you, just stick with that question. That's the only question that matters. And thanks to Real Genie, I've added another answer to that question that they could possibly give. And that is, well, the law applies because I'm here to help. Oh, yeah? But then Genie went on and he added, how should I feel afterwards, officer? I like that. Will you kiss me? Help who? Of course they're going to say, you, of course. What makes you think I need help? You have facts or evidence showing that I need help? You don't have my name. What makes you think I need help? Well, start it from the top. Officer, for your and my safety, please stay where you are and call your supervisor. Tripping up my words. Officer, for your and my safety, please stay where you are and call your supervisor. Pardon me? What's your name and badge number? What's the emergency and how can I help? Am I here about that matter? Am I here to testify? Am I under arrest? Am I being detained? Am I free to go? I believe I'm in a custodial arrest because I'm not free to go. If I give you anything, therefore, will you use it to further a legal charge against me? Aside from your willingness to use violence, what facts or evidence are you relying on to prove that your opinion is true, that that law applies to me? Finish my smoke. It is probably the last Thanksgiving. 2020. Make the best of it. Officer, for your and my safety, please stay where you are and call your supervisor. What's the emergency and how can I help? Pardon me? What's your name and badge number? Am I here about that matter? Am I here to testify? Which those two are also, I want to use those in court. Because they always call your name. Am I here about that matter? Well, depends who are you. Am I here to testify? We'll go from the top. Well, the sun's starting to come up in this dense fog. Officer, please stay where you are and call your supervisor. I'll run through the script once without the extras. There's 5 questions. They are, pardon me, what's your name and badge number? That's number 1. You want to say pardon me as much as you can, get away with. They can't make you understand, they can't make you hear them. You ask for forgiveness. Pardon me also gives you time to think while they have to repeat themselves. Calms you down because you have that extra time to think. Like I said, it's not like you get a bunch of time, it's just a few seconds more, but still, it might be all you need. And the goal of this script is they can do it. You don't have to be a professional. I've gotten arrested using it. I got to question number 4, and he wouldn't answer my question. Name and ID number, or name and birth date, that's what he said. Name and birth date. Sir, I believe I'm in custodial arrest because I'm not free to go. If I give you anything, will you use it to further a legal charge against me? He wouldn't answer. After about 4 times, 5 times, they just laid hands on me and took my shit, and I was arrested. Refusing to identify. Trespassing. Well, that's what it was. Trespassing and obstruction of a law enforcement officer without violence. Actually, I believe my charge was with violence, even though I didn't do nothing. I just stood there. They just thought I was being violent because they were fighting in their head. That's what I love about these questions. It brings the fight into them. It's not out here in the real world. It's not between me and the officer. It's between the officer and what he knows is right. And he knows he's doing wrong when I ask these questions. None of these questions are mine. Somebody just lit my candle. I made note. And kept them. And assembled them. And turned them into a script. The 2 most powerful questions are number 4 and 5. That's really the keys. Everything else, well, actually even 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all just politeness. The only question you care to get an answer to is number 5. And then you know if you're dealing with the Taliban or not. More than likely you are. When I say Taliban, but it could be the Chinese local security, private security, it could be anybody. In this fascist USA that we have now. Doesn't matter who you vote for, Walmart wins. While mom and pop get shut down. Alright, so from the top, with the extras. Did I even go through it without them? Let's go through it without them. Then we'll add the extras. Alright, so from the top, pardon me, what's your name and badge number? What's the emergency and how can I help? Am I under arrest? Am I being detained? Am I free to go? I believe I'm in a custodial arrest because I'm not free to go. If I give you anything, therefore, will you use it to further a legal charge against me? Like I said, you don't need the word therefore. Aside from your willingness to use violence, what facts or evidence are you relying on to prove that that law applies to me? That's the only one that matters. They'll say, well, you're out kind of late in this location. For this day and age, or suspicious activity, or I'm trying to help, or any of the above, including the law is irrefutable, and it says it applies to you, which is my favorite. They don't usually say it in those words, they just say, well, the law says so, something to that effect. But they mean that the law is irrefutable, and it says you must comply. And to that I have two questions, and that is, who is you, and what do you mean by must? One time I got arrested and I had a cop telling his buddies, well, if I had got him, I'd have beat his ass. I just looked at the cop, I said, and he turned and walked away. Didn't hear another word out of him. That was some white cops in Saline County who basically said that I was a white supremacist because I was asking these questions. Actually, I didn't have these questions down pat like I do now. I was doing the sovereign citizen notice of notice of understanding and intent from Robert Arthur Menard, free man on the land stuff. I like the sovereign citizen stuff, but it was just too detailed. Too many methods and operations and all this stuff. I just like the notice of understanding and intent from Robert Arthur Menard. Seemed like a nice little piece of paper you could just hand to the cop or the judge or whoever, notarized by the notary for $20 or whatever. You know, here you go, officers, notarized court paperwork. Of course, I didn't realize how weak it was until they threw it on the ground and threatened to pull me out of the car. I quit handing them paper. But it didn't do no good. Alright, let's run through it with the extras. Officer, for your and my safety, please stay where you are and call your supervisor. And they're not going to like that one. You're heading them off. I can't claim, well, I'm here for your safety. Well, you stay over there for my safety. Stay over there for your safety. Call your supervisor for your safety. Call your supervisor for my safety. No matter how you want to go. So once again, officer, please stay where you are and call your... No, officer, for your and my safety, please stay where you are and call your supervisor. Then you just join right in with the number 1 and number 2. And that is, what's the emergency happening? Oh, no, number 1 is pardon me, and what's your name and badge number? Now, when I'm dealing with cops on YouTube or Facebook, they always get hung up on the what's your name and badge number. I think that's because that's the only question that they want to answer. I always think, well, wait until we get you in the car and then you can worry about our name and badge number. I really don't care what your name and badge number is. I'm recording, I'm trying to get it on video, who you are. It also demonstrates who has a duty to answer. I don't have a duty to answer, but you do. They always get hung up on that one. And they ignore all the rest of them. And here we go. From the top. Officer, for your and my safety, please stay where you are and call your supervisor. Pardon me? What's your name and badge number? What's the emergency? How can I help? Am I here about that? Am I here about that matter? Am I here to testify? I believe I'm in a custodial arrest because I'm not free to go. Oh, I forgot 3. Number 3 is, am I under arrest? Am I being detained? Am I free to go? I believe I'm in a custodial arrest because I'm not free to go. If I give you ID, sex, drugs, rock and roll, will you use that to further a legal charge against me? A new litter. Aside from your willingness to use violence, what facts or evidence are you relying on to prove that that law applies to me? Actually, it's a little longer than that. Aside from your willingness to use violence, what facts or evidence are you relying on to prove your opinion is true that that law applies to me? And of course, you always get the location, time, date, place. Law is irrefutable. It says you do, or it does. Officer, for your and my safety, please stay where you are and call your supervisor. Pardon me? What's the emergency and how can I help? What's the emergency and how can I help? I already said that. Am I here about that matter? I said this is good in court too. Those are the ones I want to use in court. That is, am I here about that matter? Because they always say your name, and they want you to come forward. Well, you can do all of what you think is right. Just ask the first 2 questions, and they're already in a box. Am I here about that matter? Well, it depends. Who are you? Or, sir, you're either so-and-so or you're not. It really doesn't matter whether you get a warrant put out for you by the judge. I know everybody's afraid, I'm going to get kicked out and they'll put a warrant out for me and come and arrest. Look, if they can't get your name, what good's a fucking warrant? So, let's start from the top, with the extras. Officer, for your and my safety, please stay where you are and call your supervisor. Pardon me? What's your name and badge number? What's the emergency and how can I help? Am I under arrest? Oh, I forgot the extras. Am I here about that matter? Am I here to testify? Am I under arrest? Am I being detained? Am I free to go? I believe I'm in a custodial arrest because I'm not free to go. If I give you anything, will you use it to further a legal charge against me? And that can be shortened. It doesn't have to be all technical. I just practice it technical because I want to be able to say it a bunch of different ways. Officer, if I give you anything, will you charge me? Or will you use it to charge me with a crime? My hands are tied right there. They say yes, don't fucking give it to them. Yes, I'm going to use whatever you give to me to charge you with the crime. Well, then I'm not giving you nothing, sir. Or no. If you give me something, I won't use it to charge you. Well, then why would I give it to you? You going to take it fishing? Show it to your friends? Take it home, hang it on the wall? Why would I give it to you if you're not going to use it to charge me? And of course, the last question. The most powerful question. The only question that matters. Now, aside from your willingness to use violence, what facts or evidence are you relying on to prove your opinion is true that that law applies to me? Or that Constitution applies to me? Or that statute? Or that code? Or that policy? Or whatever it may be. If you're at a store or something, I believe this script will work on private property too. You haven't committed a crime. There's no need to trespass you, right? You're not unwanted if you haven't committed a crime. Typically. Now, they may not like the way you look. They might not like the way... They might not like that they have to do work. But these are not your problems. I mean, aside from you getting trespassed because of them. I'll go one more time around, I guess. Yeah. Because I need to exercise, not because you guys need to hear it anymore. I'm going to start off with... Got a car. Will they even notice me? Officer, for your and my safety, please stay where you are. Ooh, I smell gas. Officer, for your and my safety, please stay where you are and call your supervisor. Pardon me? What's your name and badge number? What's the emergency? How can I help? Am I here about that matter? Am I here to testify? Am I under arrest? Am I being detained? Am I free to go? I believe I'm in custodial arrest because I'm not free to go. If I give you anything, will you use it to further a legal charge against me? Aside from your willingness to use violence, what facts or evidence are you relying on to prove that that law applies to me? Froggy. I guess that's good. We got it. I'm gonna do it one more time. Officer, for your and my safety, please stay where you are and call your supervisor. Pardon me? What's the emergency and how can I help? What's your name and badge number? I don't have to be in order. It's the most important thing. It's hard to memorize this. You think you understand it, you think you got it down pat when it's just in your head. Until you hear yourself saying them, you don't have it. Trust me. Because as soon as you need it, you'll go to reach for it, and they'll be gone. Because you never exercise the words.